Lexington is hosting a series of composting workshops this spring, and Seth Holbrook has some composting tips and ideas on how to get involved.
Composting is the process of breaking down your food scraps kind of naturally in a very environmentally friendly way. There are a lot of different things that are compostable, but there are a lot of different things that are not compostable. A lot of the things that are unfortunately not compostable in an at-home system are a lot of the things that are labeled compostable in stores. A lot of the times nowadays you'll see a lot of paper products that are labeled compostable, a lot of utensils and things like that as well. And unfortunately, unless you're sending those to an industrial composter, they're never going to quite hit the temperature needed to break down in the ideal way. So those ones are a hard one to kind of deal with, and then there are lots of items like your milk and other dairy products, your eggs, your meats. Those are all items that, while food and while technically compostable, are also in the same situation. A lot of those paper products where it's all about temperature, and so you got to hit those right temperatures to get things broken down properly and timely. The big issue is just the fact that a lot of pests will get in there before you can get everything to that right temperature and broken down all the way. There's a real kind of baseline level of science that goes into composting where you're combining carbons and nitrogens into the perfect ratio that when kind of all heaped together in a perfect pile where you get the right combination of weight as well, you start to break down all of the different kind of mixture of things that you've put into what is essentially going to just be soil. If you're ever out and about in the woods and things like that, you see leaves breaking down into dirt. It's essentially the exact same process, but very, very controlled in a way that you get things in a timely manner and in something that gives you a lot of nutrients that can then be used in your garden. There are definitely plenty of concerns that people have before they want to dive into composting. One of the biggest things is trying to make sure that they even create enough waste to get into composting itself. I've kind of mentioned that weight and the combination of materials that you're putting into things is very important. And there are some different ways that you can make sure that you're going to be outputting enough to actually create a usable material. Some of that can be something like the size of the composter that you're using, or the type of composting that you're doing. Space is another big one. You typically will need some outdoor space to do different things. But again, it just depends on the kind of composter that you're purchasing. Tumblers up off the ground can often be helpful for a lot of apartment dwellers or things like that. Don't have to pin it onto a ground surface out in a yard or anything like that. Same with the vermicomposters that I mentioned. Those are quite small and can be kept just in your basement or living room, garage, anywhere like that. So a couple of easy ways to kind of combat some of the things that people are typically most worried about. If you are an apartment dweller and you want to compost and make sure that you're kind of helping put towards the environment, you can definitely join in the effort by composting. There are definitely, like I mentioned, the tumbler and the vermicomposter are both great ways to compost in those kinds of spaces. And even if you're not someone who plants a garden or anything like that, both of those compostable materials are great in your house plants. If you ever need to repot your plants or anything like that, you can share that material with anyone if you have other friends that need it for their own gardening or their own house plants. And you can also look into any of the community gardening organizations that are around town where you can likely donate that compost to them. So the best way to learn everything you can about composting is you can attend one of our upcoming community workshops. We have 6 different community workshops held across March and the first week of April this year. We have workshops on March 7th, 12th, 18th, 21st, 28th, and then April 4th. We'll be hosting those alongside our community partners, Seedleaf, the Fayette County Extension Office, and the Arboretum. They'll be helping us with those presentations, and you'll learn everything you need to know about composting. We'll have some hands-on demonstrations there with some compostable materials and some composters themselves, and we'll have some time for Q&A during all of those as well. Any Lexington resident who comes out and completes a workshop with us will get a $50 subsidy towards a purchase from the online compost store that is featured on our webpage at lexingtonky.com/compost. Registration for the workshops can be found there. Registration is required for the workshops. There's a limited number of seats throughout all of the different available workshops, but any and all information can be found right there.